Hello, I'm Dr. Arie VandeWaa. I'm the professor of trombone at the University of South Alabama, and you're listening to the 2022 Middle School Lyrical All-State Trombone and Euphonium podcast commentary. First off, one of the things you may notice about my recording of this piece is that I actually went quite a bit slower than the printed tempo. They marked it around 72, and I went around 60 BPM per beat, okay? One of the real reasons I did this was to help highlight these hairpin crescendos, and I found that going a little slower, I made cleaner crescendos with better dynamics and a better sound. Remember, this is appropriate because it's marked andante sostenuto, which just means slow and sustained, okay? And remember, too, as we look at the technical, all-state tempo recommendations are just recommendations. They're not hard and fast rules. The closer you can get to them, the better, but if it keeps the character of the etude, you're in good shape, okay? Now, one thing I see all the time with soft etudes, especially things that start quietly, is that players get a little too pinched, right? We do that a lot in band because our director is giving us the hand, right? Like, hey, no, too much trombones. So don't play as soft as you might in ensembles when there's, 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever people playing with you. Think more like a soloistic soft, so more like a mezzo piano, okay? Remember, there's all these hairpins in the piece that we just talked about a second ago, so if it is too soft or too loud, you can always grow and then diminuendo to wherever you're trying to get, right? So you have chances to fix the dynamics as you go along. So try to start by just playing at a comfy, semi-quiet dynamic, okay? Now, as far as articulations are concerned, make sure that you're either natural slurring for the trombones, or, again, if you're euphonium, just slurring, right, by only articulating the first note. For trombones, remember that natural slurs are moments where we are slurring. We're only tonguing the first note of a series as the slide moves across different partials, right? We still will need to tongue to avoid glissandos, so don't completely not tongue. However, you want a natural slur as much as possible to create that sort of smooth sense of line like our euphonium friends and our other members of the brass family will have. Remember that you want to use a nice da legato tongue, right? And not a harsh ta or anything like that. Da, D as in dog, okay? And this can really help. Just be very gentle with the tongue on this etude. If you tongue too hard, it's going to throw things off. The octave E's that we have are really good metrics of your ability to hear pitch, okay? So remember, the partial that E up there above the staff belongs to is a very, very sharp partial. So we have to adjust it by making our slide go very flat or using our lips to manipulate the pitch. Trombones should only use their slide if it's going flatter, right? You have a big tuning slide in your right hand. You want to make sure that you use that to adjust the pitch. Euphoniums, however, you guys are going to have to either manipulate it directly from the tuning slides themselves or from your lips, and that's fine. Some people have issues, too, with going back down to the lower octave, and that's where you'll notice this, right? Especially trombones, if you go out to flat second for the high E, and then you stay there and you go down to the middle register, that low E is going to be very, very flat, right? So be very active in your tuning. Use your ears. Use a drone, right? A pitch that plays the note so that you can hear it before you play it. And a tuner. Check in with your tuner to make sure that you're accurate. Some people have issues with the compound meter in this one, right? 12/8 is a little scary looking, right? It's a lot of numbers. But remember, this is just divided into 4 groups of 3, essentially, right? So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And it's fine to notate that in your music that way, right? With those groupings to help you keep that subdivision. The key is tricky. Don't let the fact that there's no sharps and flats fool you, okay? A minor and C major are both kind of tough for young players, especially because we love B flat and E flat. Make sure that if you're playing any flat notes at all in this key, that they are notated on the page, all right? And that you're not adding flats to a key with no flats. Another really fun thing I recommend with both this and the technical, these are duets, so find a friend, play along with them, right? Switch parts. You play the top line, they play the bottom line. They play the top, you play the bottom, right? Move around. Make music with it. It's kind of fun to do. It's a great way to check on your pitch and your sense of pulse and make sure your rhythms are correct. And it's just fun to make music, and that's what I really love about this selection of etudes. I don't typically think that I did any alternate positions this time around. If I did, I must have zoned out while watching the video, so forgive me. But what I would recommend, if you're going to use any alternates in this one, 4th position D can be very helpful sometimes if you're having issues like with creating a glissando with the slide. Remember, anytime you use alternates, you want it to make life easier, not harder. So it has to have a good sound. It has to have a good sense of pitch, right? It has to be in tune. And it has to do something to help your playing, right? If you're chipping it more but using this alternate because of the glissandos, it's probably better to just fight through the glissandos and play the note in the sort of normal standard position. So use alternates, but be careful. Finally, if you have particular measures or notes that are challenging, right, that are giving you a hard time, with lyrical etudes especially, I really recommend doing some mouthpiece buzzing. Take the tongue out, glissando through the notes, and what this will do is it'll help shore up the connection between the airflow between the first note and the note after it. You don't need to buzz all the time, but if you're having issues hitting notes or if you're having issues creating a smooth line, buzzing is great, and it's also a wonderful addition to your warm-up. It's a great thing to do first thing in the day for a little bit. I hope you find this helpful. Happy practicing. And enjoy. Again, I'm Dr. Arie VandeWaa at the University of South Alabama. Thank you.